Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 things science can't explain. So you may think that scientists and science know everything there is to know. They can literally explain things we can't even fathom. But no matter how many billions of dollars of research are put into these things, science can't answer these questions. So here are some bizarre things, theories, and photos that science can't explain. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 is shaking minarets. So this mystery takes place in Iran, and it's all to do with a building constructed in 1316 called Minar Jonbar. Minar Jonbar, translated to English, means shaking minarets. A minaret is like a long, thin tower on a building. However, Minar Jonbar has been designed in a very odd way. It's been designed in a way that if one minaret is shaking, the other will shake too. Now, as you can see on the building, the two minarets are very far away from each other. So why is it that if one tower is shaken, the other one does too? You may be saying they're obviously connected, but they're not. Experts have spent years examining and excavating the foundations of the building, but despite all the research, no one's found out why these two minarets shake at the same time. Nobody knows who made the buildings. All anyone knows is that an Indian architect made them in 1316. And despite people trying, nobody knows how to construct a building with a similar phenomena. How do you think this works? It literally makes no sense to me. If one of the towers are shaken, I'm not sure why the other one would. It would make sense if they were connected, but of course they're not, so this really is a mystery. To this day, people are still researching this building, but so far they've found nothing. Next up is waving flag. Now this one is likely going to cause a lot of arguments. That is because it's all about the moon landing. Did you know that 40% of people actually believe the moon landing to be fake? I'm not going to get into all of that now, that's for another video. However, there is one part of the moon landing that science can't explain. Of course, scientists were heavily involved in the moon landing. I mean, they had to make all the technology to get there, right? But everyone knows that when Neil Armstrong got to the moon, he put a flag in the ground. This was actually a $6 Walmart American flag. Nothing special, right? But many people saw something very strange about the flag. As you can see in the videos, it appears to be waving. Now, you may just be saying it's simply waving in the breeze, but this would make no sense, as there's no atmosphere on the moon and therefore no wind and no breeze. So far, scientists are yet to explain why this happened. Many people have asked, but they haven't really given an answer. This has actually led many people to think the moon landing was fake, and some say it was all filmed in the Nevada desert. You don't even need video footage to see the flag is waving. Even in the official NASA photographs published everywhere, the flag appears to be waving. Do you think this was something NASA overlooked when they faked the moon landing? Or do you think the moon landing is 100% real and there's another explanation for this? To be honest, I'm not sure, but let me know if you guys want to see a video all about the moon landing. There's a lot of strange facts about the moon landing, so if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments. Next up is Mekong fireballs. What would you do if you saw fireballs raising out of a river into the sky? Chances are you'd think it was the end times and freak out. Well, believe it or not, every year this happens in Thailand. The Mekong River is one of the largest rivers in Asia. It actually goes through many countries in Eastern Asia, but the main country the fireballs are seen in is Thailand. Every autumn, hundreds of these red fireballs can be seen flying out of the river. They can be seen from over a 100-kilometer stretch, but science is yet to explain what on earth these fireballs are. At first, people were very scared when they saw these, but now it's sort of an event. Many people actually camp out by the river to see these fireballs. That seems kind of foolhardy to me. If there were fireballs anywhere near me, I'd be running away. Now, most superstitious people in Thailand think these come from Naga. Naga is an ancient mythological serpent which can spit fire. But if you're looking for a more scientific theory, then sorry, but there isn't one. Scientists literally have no idea what's going on here. So guys, what do you think? Is it Naga the ancient serpent? Or is this a sign of the end times? Whatever's going on, I would be careful next time you're near the Mekong River. Next up is flashes in the skies. So this one is very mysterious but also very scary. This is an unknown phenomenon which happens all over the world. Did you know that white or blue flashes are always seen in the sky right before large earthquakes? These flashes last for several seconds and seem to foreshadow earthquakes. Now, of course, there are many theories about this, as science can't explain it. One theory is piezoelectricity. This is where an electrical charge accumulates in a solid material. Then when mechanical stress is applied to that material, a light can be seen. Others say this is phosphine gas emissions, and some even say it's chemical trails. That's right, some say the government is emitting chemicals into the sky to brainwash us. Now that seems pretty far-fetched, but there is a lot about it online and many people believe it. But if it's a bunch of brainwashing gas, then why is it right before an earthquake? Well, here's where it gets crazy. Many people say it is emitted by the government. Some say this is the government using weather-changing technology. You may think that doesn't exist, but it does. Since 1993, the government have had something called HAARP. This stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. This is a piece of US secret technology used for weather modification, something the government sometimes changed the weather in certain places. This can cause earthquakes and other terrible things to happen. Some people say the government do this on purpose, while others say it's just an accidental product of the research. But what do you guys think? Could these lights really be related to HAARP, or are these bizarre lights which appear before earthquakes totally innocent? Next up is Saturn hurricane. So we all know that hurricanes sometimes appear on Earth, but in 2013 a massive hurricane on Saturn was photographed. The hurricane is 20 times the size of any hurricane on Earth. And did you know that the eye of the hurricane is bigger than the entire United States? So obviously this is a massive hurricane occurring on Saturn, which is a lot bigger than Earth. But here's where it gets crazy. Earth's hurricanes are obviously powered by warm oceans, and the hurricanes dissipate over cold waters. But the strange thing is, Saturn has no oceans at all. So if Saturn has no oceans, how is there a massive hurricane on there? You may look to a scientist and try and ask them, but they will have no idea. That is because science cannot explain this whatsoever. Despite there being a storm the size of a continent on Saturn, nobody knows why. Some say that Saturn does actually have a lot of water and they're covering it up. But I really don't know why they'd want to do this. Just the images of this hurricane look very terrifying. It looks like a massive meteor has just hit Saturn. Guys, what do you think's going on here? Is there really secret oceans on Saturn? Or could this massive continent-sized hurricane be something even more scary? Next up is Sun's corona. So here's one more bizarre thing about space which nobody understands. This one is very simple and not hard to explain at all, but it's very mysterious. So we all know that the Sun is the hottest planet, right? It's literally a big ball of fire. Now, when I ask you what is the hottest part of the Sun, you would probably say the center. After all, the center of the Earth is just as hot as the Sun. But did you know that for some reason the Sun's corona is actually hotter than the surface of the Sun? The Sun's corona is basically the airspace around the Sun. However, no one can explain why the area around the Sun is hotter than the Sun itself. It simply doesn't make any sense. It's like saying the air near a candle is hotter than the candle flame itself. Obviously, it doesn't make any logical sense to us. But believe it or not, despite the best scientific minds looking into this, no one's sure why the Sun's corona is hotter than the Sun itself. Why do you guys think this could be? Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to solve a massive scientific discovery, but any theories would be welcome, seeing as scientists are stumped. Next up is bird GPS. So everyone knows that during the seasons, birds migrate from country to country. For example, in the winter they fly to Africa as it's more hot, and then in the summer they fly to colder countries. But of course, birds don't have GPS's, maps, or a compass. So how do birds know where they're going? Well, this is something science simply isn't sure of. You've probably heard that birds can see the Earth's magnetic field. This is true in a sense, except they can't see it with their eyes. Instead, it appears to be something in birds' brains which allows them to see the Earth's magnetic field. Some say it could be all down to the Sun's positioning. As it moves around the Earth, birds can only see certain bits of the Sun, which is how they tell their way. But in reality, nobody's sure how birds know how to do this. The crazy thing is, birds can be very specific about where they fly to as well, almost like they have a GPS. That is why carrier pigeons were used centuries ago. And a bird can actually fly from the USA to Africa to the same nest every year. That's right, they can actually pinpoint the exact same tree nest they were in the year before. Personally, I think we need to do a lot more research into birds. They're literally everywhere and are very normal, but they're so amazing and undiscovered. Next up is purring. So this one is another animal fact. So this one is another animal thing that science can't explain. It's very funny and isn't sinister whatsoever, but it is still very curious. If you have a cat, you've likely heard it purr before, but how does it purr? You likely don't know because, well, nobody does. Scientists actually have no idea how cats purr. They know the noise comes from their mouth, but they're not sure how it's made. Some say it's a vibration, similar to how cicadas communicate. Cicadas make a noise by rubbing their legs together, and some say cats can make vibration with their mouth to make a purring noise. But really, nobody knows, and we may never know. Next up is wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Do you guys believe in aliens? If you don't and you're rolling your eyes right now, don't worry, I'm not going to talk about little green men or UFOs. However, on August 15th, 1977, a radio signal was detected. The Ohio University Observatory spotted this, and their signal is one of the only ever proven non-terrestrial signals. Jerry R. Eman, the man who first saw this signal, was so amazed he simply wrote "wow" next to it. So far, the source of the signal is unknown, but some say it could have been a spaceship or an alien craft. What do you guys think? Of course, this is very scientific and complicated, but even scientists don't understand where this signal could have come from. The only thing they know is that it's from a living thing and it's not a human. Next up is sliding stones. So this is very confusing. In several locations around the world, rocks have been seen to scoot across desert floors. Sometimes these rocks also turn or reverse in direction with no good reason. You can see this from all the marks in the ground. However, despite all the research, people aren't sure why this occurs. This isn't just people moving it around, as there's no footprints in the earth. It appears these stones slide around all by themselves. Some say it's all to do with the Earth's magnetic fields, but really no one's 100% sure. Let me know in the comments what you think is behind these sliding stones. Next up is righties. Are you right or left-handed? Chances are you're right-handed, as 9 out of 10 people in the world are right-handed. However, scientists are not sure why. Did you know that 90% of US presidents are left-handed? And left-handed people actually live for less time than right-handed people. But science has no idea why people are right-handed and left-handed. It seems to just be a natural thing. But so far, science has found no links whatsoever. People used to think that if your mother or father was left-handed, then you would be too. But that is simply not the case, as right-handed parents can have a left-handed child and vice versa. This isn't exactly a scary or crazy thing science doesn't know, but it sure is interesting. Let me know in the comments if you guys are right-handed or left-handed. Check out the poll in the top right corner for the most amazing thing science can't explain. I think it's the Saturn hurricane, as that is seriously scary. If you want more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what you're waiting for, subscribe to Top 10s.